I'm Kristen from Pop Culture Planet. It's so great to meet both of you. I'm very, very excited to talk about this project because I really want to hear how you got involved in it. I feel like there's been this surge of like scripted podcasts like really blowing up in the space lately, and I'd love to hear about like why this was the right fit for you guys.
My good friends Ash Lindsay and Jacqueline Hales came to me with this idea like years ago and had talked about making this a film. And I just latched on. I was like, listen, podcasts are so popular right now. We could totally manage this ourselves and make this a podcast. And so we did that. We got together, us three. They were the creators, the writers, and I just basically jumped on being a producer for that first season. It was COVID, so it was just wide open. Everybody was like, yeah, let's do this. And so cut to season 2, you know, we got some wonderful producers as well. And then we got a great cast. So we have Luke, who jumped on. So that's how it fell in my lap and just became this wonderful happy accident that we worked so hard for, but we got wonderful talent this season.
What about you, Luke? How'd you get involved in the second season?
Well, I got cast, so I had to audition for the part, and so I did a voiceover audition for it, and then I had no idea really what it was. And then I saw the cast that they had. I mean, alongside me, I couldn't believe some of the names that I saw, like Jane Lynch. I was like, wait, you guys actually got Jane Lynch? They really got Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch is in this.
We were so blown away by his audition too, because he was on our list of like, we really want to hear Luke Cook audition for any of these roles. And he freaking nailed it. It was so, we were cackling at his audition. And we told him when we went to record, we were like, you were perfect. Nobody nailed it like you did.
Luke, can you tell us a little bit more about your character and how you kind of fit into the world of this story?
Well, I'm the evil one. I'm the bad guy. He's a complex being. He's hilarious and funny at the same time. I didn't really have to act. It's menacing. He's menacing and evil and very funny. You have to listen to it to understand like how absurd it is, but also how funny it is.
He has like this moral compass though. Like he really just wants everybody to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what Luke nailed, was just like being himself. And he's like, listen, these are the facts. You just got to be a good person, and that's it.
Or I'll kill you.
Or I'll kill you.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, Luke, I feel like that's like your expertise. Like you're so good at, you're so funny in so many of your projects, but you're also so good at playing a bad guy. How do you balance that? Like, I'm just thinking about like, the content you make online, when you were in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, like you just have this like balance that's like unmatched.
Thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, I mean, I just like to have fun, and I think evil people are having fun without morality. But this guy has morality, but evil is a mix of people having fun with no rules.
Heather, I wanted to know, you went from producing in the first season to now producing and writing, and I wanted to hear about like that experience and kind of what made you want to jump into that.
Yeah, listen, it was hard. It was very difficult for me. This was my first time kind of writing and getting into that whole world. And Ash and Jacqueline kind of had like a flow established, and then they became the head writers and had myself and then Nick Blair-Wilfong on as well to write. So it took us a while. We went through a lot of different storylines. Like there was a cult at one point, which was hysterical and amazing. What else? I mean, there was just so many different versions of this, and we took it so far that at the very end, we kind of had to sit back and go, wow, we really have to reel this in, because I don't know if the audience can get this on board with us and how far we took it. I mean, we took it far, but it was such a fun learning experience. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited for future seasons.
You already got plans for future seasons, you're saying?
Oh yeah. What's great about it too is it's different storylines every time. So we can just take it wherever we want. There's so many different ways to explore it, because the Bystanders itself, the bystander effect, it's studied worldwide about like how you react in situations where something of emergency is happening, or, something happening to another person, and will you or won't you help? And the more people that are around, the less likely people are to help. And so we explored a lot of that in the first season. And second season, we tried to delve into like, if people weren't helping, how do other people take that? And then there's so many other ways we could take it where like, well, there are reasons why you can't help, or, you know, you could be sued if you do help. So it's interesting how you can spin that in different ways.
I'm curious, like, what are your guys' take on the bystander effect? Like, having worked on the season, like, what would you do if you were put in this situation yourself?
I always think about that. When I'm driving on the freeway, I literally like stare. My peripheral is like, if something were to happen, what would I actually do? Like, would I step up and get in there? Or like, I have kids in the back. I can't pull over and put them in jeopardy. I don't know. It's literally moment by moment.
I like to think that I would do something, but it's hard to say. I mean, I always like spring to action when something goes wrong, but nothing really has ever gone massively wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I really would, or if I'm just fake brave. I'm convenient brave, you know.
Convenient brave.
Yeah.
We need to make sure it's
brave
I'm convenient brave.
I'm convenient brave. It does make you think about it, you know, like I have someone in my life that I feel like is always in these situations where they're like ready to jump in and help people. And I feel like I'm very oblivious sometimes to things going on. But there was one time where we like, because of this person, we like stopped on the road and like saved a woman that was like kind of being like attacked by her husband. And it was like a whole thing. And like, but you never really think about it. And like, I feel like if I wasn't with this person, I don't know if I would even have realized anything was happening, because sometimes you're like in your own.
Well, there's like power in numbers too. It's like you wouldn't have done that by yourself and put yourself in danger, but you maybe felt safe with that person or whatever that looked like.
But you're correct. There are people who have their great peripheral for things like that. People who've gone through the military tend to have great.
That's who it is. It's that was the little group that I was with. It's people that were in the military. I feel like they like.
Oh well, there you go. You felt safe, I'm sure.
Actors also very brave, conveniently so. As long as it makes them look good and nothing touches their hair or face, then they're very brave.
Heather, I also wanted to ask, you know, and Luke even mentioned it, you know, you got Jane Lynch, Darren Criss in this project, a lot of people you've worked with in the past on Glee and other projects. You know, what was it about this that made it the right fit to reunite with these people for this project?
When I reached out to Jane last season and I just shot her a text and I was like, hey, you want to come join this really convenient podcast where we send you a microphone and then you only have to record in an hour? She was like, absolutely, I'll do this. So that was an easy sell for her. And it was definitely a role. I don't want to speak for her, but she's mentioned it a couple times that she has always wanted to play. You know, it's this very like 1930s crime investigation podcast. And we wanted to flip the switch and it not be a male who was doing it, because in that time there was always like a male narrator. And so she felt so empowered that she got to play it, and being a female. And then season 2, it was just, again, I was like, well, you know, we got Luke Cook and Kathleen Turner. You want to come join us? And she was like, absolutely, I would love to. And Darren too, he's a little weirdo, like we all are. And I sent him like the details in the script and he was like, oh yeah, this is my jam. Of course I'm going to do this.
I know you also mentioned that at the very beginning, this was a project that you guys were looking to like maybe put on film or something like that. Do you think that is maybe still a goal down the line? Or I've seen podcasts be adapted into movies, TV shows, things like that.
Absolutely. That's always on our mind. And we're striving for that. We know it's going to happen, putting that positivity out in the world. Just, you know, pushing forward.
Yeah, if I could play this character in real life, that'd be
cool.
Oh, that would be awesome.
100%. We're going to put it in your deal memo.
Now, when you guys are filming this, are you guys all separate, or did you guys get to come together at all during certain moments or anything like that?
Well, what's interesting is, I mean, the first time Luke and I met was on Zoom. And so you're not getting that like face-to-face, you know, kind of initial conversation that you usually have on set, where you're going to talk before you start recording, or you like meet before a table read. And so it was kind of like straight business right away. So like I got to come pick up the mic from him and we had a small conversation after that. And we're like, yeah, this is kind of awkward. And let's talk about ourselves for a little bit. And then we're gone and like moving on. But it's definitely interesting.
I thought it was very nice. Okay.
Well, you always walk away from those and you're like,
okay, was it me? Was it my energy?
No, I always feel awkward in conversations like that, where I'm like, okay, I have to pretend to be like this producer, but like,
yeah,
I don't want to interrupt your time.
No. I know what you mean. It was just it was a dash awkward. It's very pandemic-y, like the way in which we don't meet each other and we just do it and far away. Part of why I wanted to, why I want to be an actor and why I like doing stuff like this is so that I can be around people and also like listen to them and feed off them what they want, what they're looking for. And so I'm praying that, at some point we can do this in person all together. And also I really want to meet Jane Lynch.
Who doesn't?
I love it. And Luke, not only are you, in this podcast, voicing a character, but you also have your own podcast. So what kind of like is the difference or the dynamic in that of like going from like a scripted podcast to your own kind of like, raw conversations?
It's very different. This is, acting, and this is playing a character. And on my own podcast, I'm just the interviewer, and I like to, it's the art of conversation. So it's very much feeding off what somebody wants to talk about and looking for follow-up questions, like a lot what you do, Kristen, is like looking for a follow-up question. And so they're different skills, but I think they all feed into each other. And like, it's how you have a conversation that isn't awkward. Like when Heather came over to my house, and I ventured to make it not awkward by keeping the conversation rolling, but it didn't work out. It was awkward.
I'm never going to live this down. I will forevermore.
That's fine.
Be given a hard time for the awkward comment.
Is there anything else that you want to share about this project, where people can check it out?
Yeah, I think what really stands out about this podcast is we actually traveled to Nashville and mixed this in the Dolby Atmos studio. So we got to make it this 3D surround experience. And we are so hopeful for the future of podcasting to make this Dolby Atmos available for listeners, because right now it's available on like Apple Music and Spotify and such. But for podcasts, it's kind of new. So we were kind of one of the first innovators. There's a few other podcasts who have done it, and I think we're all really excited for that. But you can definitely tell when you're listening to it, just the world that's created. You'll hear birds fly by. They go from, above you and around you. That was mixed by Alex Carter and Tim McEwen, and we had such a great time there. But it's available on Apple Podcasts as well as our website, thebystanders.com.
That is so awesome. I love hearing just how like, all these, the podcasting are really like elevating and going to the next level. That's incredible. So thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and congratulations. I love the first episode, and I'm excited to listen to the rest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!